So you know that moment whenever you are sitting by yourself, you are all alone, it's super quiet, and you're just with your thoughts, and you start to think, I really want more out of my life. But then that really annoying voice pops into your head and goes, yeah, but is that even possible for me? And that doesn't come from you not believing in yourself or you being negative. It's because you've been living as the same version of yourself for so long that becoming someone else feels weird, like just really uncomfortable, and it makes you just want to crawl back into your little cave of comfort. And if that is how you're feeling right now, then this video is for you. By the end of this video, you are going to understand why in the world you keep repeating the same patterns, even though you know better, the actual shift that is going to break this cycle. And this is not just a little productivity hack, this actually is a true deep root shift that you can make, and the actual framework that I use to rewire my own beliefs and my own brain so that the changes that I make actually stick. So without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome back to your weekly girl check-in. Grab a pen, grab your notebook, and grab a cozy beverage because we're about to dive into the things that you actually need to hear this week. This is where we cut through the noise, we get real about the things that are holding you back, and I share what I've personally learned and experienced so that you don't have to waste your time figuring it all out the hard way. I am so excited for this video because I feel like it's just a really good thing to think about, especially kind of like mid-winter or so, because it is such a pretty day today. I just got back from a run/walk and the sun is shining. It's still a little chilly, but I can definitely tell that spring is on the horizon. And I feel like if you can really do this inner work during the colder months, you're going to be able to enjoy so much more in the spring and summer. And I don't know, I just look at the colder months as the time to do that inner work. And I feel like this is just such a foundational thing that you can do. So I'm just very, very pumped about the video today, which I feel like I always say that because I just get so excited to talk to you. But today we are going to talk about the real reason that you keep going back into your old patterns, not your surface level habits. We're not talking about willpower. We are going to go way deeper than that. And to really solve these things, you've got to go to the root. So like I said, make sure you have your notebook, you have your pen, open up your notes app, and let's dive in. Here's something that you really need to understand. You don't rise to a new life just because you want it. You rise into a new life whenever who you believe you are matches it. And that alone is going to explain more about why you fall into these old patterns even though you don't want to, more than any other productivity advice ever could explain to you. Because this is what's actually happening. You're not lazy, you're not broken, you are not lacking discipline at all. I mean, you're literally watching this video wanting to make the change. You are just being loyal to an old version of yourself. I've been really thinking about the way that we talk about change. We always say that like, I need more discipline, I need to want it more, I just need to get my life together. But your behavior isn't the problem. It's the fact that your identity is the one that's actually running the show. Listen, you don't wake up in the morning and just act random, okay? You wake up and you act like yourself, like the version of you that your nervous system recognizes as familiar and as safe, which is why a lot of people wake up and immediately dread their day because they are comfortable feeling those same emotions over and over again because they've conditioned themselves to feel that way. So it feels familiar, it feels safe. And if you're trying to feel positive or think positive about a situation that you are so used to feeling negative about, that's gonna really raise some red flags in your subconscious and in your nervous system because that's not normal for you, at least for this version of you. Whenever you try to change your habits without changing your identity, it's like trying to drag a cat into a bathtub. Is it possible? Yeah. Is it enjoyable? Absolutely not. And I've actually experienced that. Let me give you an example. So let's say you want to start working out consistently, but deep down, you still see yourself as someone that is just not a gym person. So every time that you go to the gym, you just feel like you're pretending. It's almost like you're like wearing a costume or you're just basically being someone that you're not. Your nervous system kind of freaks out and is like, oh, this is not familiar, it's a little uncomfortable, let's go back to where we are comfortable, to what we know. And that right there is why you quit. You were trying to change a behavior without changing who you believe you are, because your actions are going to follow your identity always. And that's exactly why it didn't stick. And if you've ever had the thought of like, why do I always end up back here even though I know better? It's because it has nothing to do with just doing the habits, but it has everything to do with who you believe you are. This is what this looked like for me, okay? I always believed that I was someone that would start something new with so much excitement and so much commitment. And then as time went on, I would slowly start to ghost things whenever it just became uncomfortable, or things popped up and I couldn't seem to push through those obstacles. I didn't consciously believe I was someone that like started and quit things, but that's what I acted like. So even though I genuinely wanted growth, my actions just kept circling that same pattern over and over again. And it's almost like I was spinning my tires. For example, I would start a new routine. I would get excited, it would last for a week, and then slowly I would start to drift off. And then I would completely beat myself up for it. I would think like, why do I always do this? Why do I always start something that I know I'm gonna quit? It's not gonna last. And that is when I realized that I was being loyal to an old identity. And there's a quote that I heard recently that has really like put this into perspective for me, and hopefully you can remember this if you catch this with yourself, is that you are under no obligation to be the version of yourself that you were yesterday. For me, that old identity just felt very familiar. She knew how to survive in her world. She knew her coping mechanisms. She knew the stories that she was repeating to herself day in and day out. But that version of myself also had the ceilings that I kept bumping into. So I stopped asking myself like, why can't I change? And started asking, who do I believe that I am? And Tony Robbins actually talks about this too. He says that the quality of your life is determined by the quality of questions that you ask yourself. Instead of asking yourself those victimizing questions, you need to put it back into your control. So instead of sitting there feeling sorry for myself and being like, why can't I change? I asked myself, like, who do I believe I am? I'm the reason that I can't seem to make the change, and why is that? And it came down to who I believed I truly was, because who I believed I was not aligning with those actions, and therefore they just wouldn't stick. And when you realize that everything is truly identity driven, you can make the change. The change is literally put back into your hands. You never want to put the power into something outside of yourself or someone outside of yourself. And after asking myself that, I literally chose to just become someone new. So if growth to you has felt uncomfortable, if it has felt like a red flag, you are not doing it wrong. That is how it feels whenever you are shedding an old self-concept and you are making space for a new one. This is the exact framework that I personally use to actually make this shift real, and not just something that's like a nice idea, but you can actually put into practice. You don't upgrade your life by fighting with yourself. You upgrade your life by choosing a new self that you practice being. And here is step by step exactly how you're going to do that. Step 1 is you're going to rewrite your identity as a statement. I don't want you to sit there and say like, oh, I'm trying to be confident. Instead of that, just say, I'm someone that speaks even though I might feel a little awkward. Don't sit there and say, I'm trying to be disciplined, which if you haven't caught already, we are eliminating the word trying, because that means that there is room to like a possibility of not doing it. We're not doing that, okay? We're eliminating the word trying. So instead of saying, I'm trying to be disciplined, say that I'm someone that follows through on the small promises that I make to myself. Instead of saying, one day I'll be different, say that I am someone that figures things out as they go. This is how you're going to rehearse that new identity that you're growing into and shed the old one. And Joe Dispenza actually talks about this, is that your nervous system learns through that repetition, and you start to actually rewire it. Step 2 is you're going to collect the evidence of this new identity. So this is where a lot of people skip and the shift that you're trying to make doesn't actually stick. You have to prove to yourself through tiny actions that that identity is real. So for example, if you are becoming someone that follows through with what they say to themselves, just start with like one small promise to yourself. Say you're going to drink your water before you have coffee, or say that you're gonna journal for 3 minutes before you go to bed, or say you're gonna go for a 10-minute walk whenever you get home from work or on your lunch break or whatever, and then just do it. Don't make it something that's super daunting or something that is gonna make it difficult for you to do. You wanna make it something small and something that you can repeat and build on eventually. Just focus on doing it once, and then after you do it once, focus on doing it again and again. And every time you show up to doing this action, you are building that trust with the new version of yourself. Step 3 is you're going to let go of the old identity, but you're gonna do it with compassion. You do not have to hate the old version of yourself to grow. She is the one who got you to this point. She is the one who has kept you safe. She did her best, but she's not who you're becoming. You can be grateful for everything she did. You can be grateful for all the lessons that you've learned through her that you are carrying into this new identity. You can honor her and still choose to evolve, because whether you like it or not, that old version of yourself is contributing to this new version. You can't become this old version without having experienced the old version first. You're just upgrading. All right, so this is the first thing you're going to do. I want you to walk away from this video with an actual action step so you feel like you can start this whole process and start getting momentum with it, and not just watch this video and forget about it and go watch the next 10 motivational or productivity videos or whatever it is going on with about your day. I want you to have a true action to take away with this. I want you to finish this sentence, and you can put this on a piece of paper, you can put this in your notes, you can put this in the comments, but it's that I am the kind of person who blank. Write it down. Say it out loud to yourself over and over again. Let it feel a little unfamiliar, because it definitely will. And whatever it is you said, I want you to pick one small action that you can do towards that, and I want you to do it today. This is literally to prove that new identity to yourself. This is going to help with your nervous system and realizing like, okay, this feels more familiar, this is who we are, and the more and more you do this every single day, it's going to recondition your nervous system, and it's gonna become your new normal and who you actually do become. You are not gonna just wake up one day as a new person. You slowly teach your mind and your body that this new version of you is safe to be. That is literally the foundation to any shift you can make, building any habit, building any kind of success, because you truly change who you believe you are. That is going to kickstart the actions that you need to take to make those goals happen and to make that dream life yours. That is it for today's girl check-in. I really hope that was helpful. I hope it was something that you felt like you needed to hear, that you can walk away from this video and start implementing to truly make that change. If you feel comfortable, comment below what identity shift you are working towards. And if this video did make a difference for you, please let me know. It truly makes my heart so full whenever I hear that these videos actually help you guys, because these kinds of videos, this is exactly what I felt like I needed that I didn't have on my own development journey and my own self-help journey and building my habits and who I wanted to become. This is what I felt like I needed and I didn't have. So I really want this to be helpful to you and a tool that you can use every single week to just help you become who you want to be and create the life that you want. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next girl check-in. Bye.